Tell us a little bit about what is PulseBitLock, why was it created specifically, and how does it enhance and create more utility for Pulse Bitcoin?
My original intention in creating this project was just to give people a way to hodl their coins. Hex has staking. PulseX is going to have single side staking. Mm-hmm. The question is, what are people going to do with their Pulse Bitcoin? And instead of just creating like another type of staking thing where you're just getting like another token out there, I just decided, well, what if I just let people lock it up and not do anything with it for however long they wanted to, kind of save themselves from themselves. You could lock up however many Pulse Bitcoin you want for however long you want to lock them up for. You can create a locking ladder, you can create multiple NFTs. And what's really cool about this is you not only get to mint this NFT where your Pulse Bitcoin is locked inside that NFT, but you also get to choose the image and the description for that NFT. Put like an inspiring quote, a music lyric, maybe something that describes why they're locking up, maybe a goal. Hey, I want to put a down payment on this house in 5 years or something like that. A couple other benefits kind of came out of this. One was you now basically have Pulse Bitcoin acting as a OTC secondary market. So instead of people, if you want to sell like a large amount of Pulse Bitcoin, but you don't want to, incur maximum slippage, and you could basically lock up your Pulse Bitcoin in an NFT. You can lock it up for 0 days so that, the person buying the NFT won't be necessarily restricted from kind of accessing that Pulse Bitcoin. And then you just go on OpenSea and you sell that NFT for however much ETH or whatever you want. The original idea was you mint this NFT, you'd be able to send it to a friend, you can sell it on OpenSea. But his idea was allow people to have the option of making a non-transferable NFT. And that means basically once you mint this NFT, you lock up your Pulse Bitcoin, you can no longer send that NFT to anybody. You can't sell it on OpenSea. It becomes like a real hodl tool. Like you can't access that Pulse Bitcoin for however many days you locked it up for. And what's cool about that, and this kind of goes into people who like to do giveaways and things like that. Usually if you do a giveaway of a certain coin, what's going to happen right after you kind of give away that coin? The recipient,
just sell it.
Yeah, they're most likely going to sell it.
Yeah.
With this tool, you could lock up that coin in a non-transferable NFT, and you could actually mint it to the winner's address instead of minting it to your own wallet, for example. Now the recipient has this non-transferable NFT locked up for, let's say, 1,000 days. That recipient can do nothing with that NFT for that whole time period.
When you lock the tokens as a non-transferable NFT, you're actually boosting your security for your wallet. Wallet becomes compromised. That NFT cannot be transferred out. That's very powerful. Like so far, I've locked up about 250. How many? Let's see, 180.
180. Oh, I've lost track already. What you?
I've locked up 253,000 Pulse Bitcoin, but they're all non-transferable. So right. even if you somehow get access to my wallet, well, fuck you. Now you got to wait a long time to get access to tokens. And you may not even know like what to look for. But even if you do, you got to wait a long time. So I think it adds to the level of security. Secondly, another thought to think about is that imagine if you could go back in time to when miners started mining Bitcoin in like 2009. Imagine if you had a mechanism where you could lock your Bitcoin for like 14 years. And not touch it, not think about it, not trade it, like it's just inaccessible to you. Wow, that would have been very powerful. You would have made so much money and become super wealthy. So this is actually, this really is a powerful like mechanism. Like you don't need extra yield. The yield is the return on investment. That and people don't have to think like, oh, now I got to lock up my tokens for 10,000 days or some ridiculous number.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That may not be so practical, but like honestly, you could just, like you guys kind of touched on ladders. You could build a beautiful locked ladder of NFTs because obviously you're going to want to extract value at some point along the way in the future.
Of course.
So why not maybe start a ladder at, like, let's say year 2 or year 3, and build out a ladder for 10 years or 15 years, something like that. I think that'd be smart. Maybe something that's like monthly NFTs or quarterly NFTs. I'm not sure if like shorter time periods would be smart, because you also have to think about gas cost and like the size of your bag and that kind of thing. But it's just the locked ladder concept, I think, is kind of cool. You don't have to worry about penalties. Like in Hex, you get murdered with penalties,
Yes.
which kind of sucks. With this, it's like there's no penalty. Sure, there's no yield, but there's also no penalty. You could just let it sit there. Like after the days have fully matured, you could just let it sit there for infinity if you wanted to.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point you raised. There's definitely an enticing prospect for both the individuals who are incentivized by yield, and it seems like there's a lot of principles behind the reason why PulseBitcoin Lock was created, to save people from themselves, to be able to create the value with NFTs, because there's definitely a school of thought that NFTs are just serial numbers attached to a JPEG, but you have to give those NFTs utility in order for them to have value. So there's definitely different schools of thought that come into this notion. So I want to ask you this. You said that the lockup is, as long as you want. So you can lock up your tokens for as long as you like. And how does this project embody a principle that's pre-existing in the Pulse chain? And you brought up Hex, the Hex community, which is the principle of delayed gratification. In your opinion, why should Pulse Bitcoin holders lock up their Pulse Bitcoin for longer periods of time? Like, what would you say if I asked you, like, what is the main benefit?
Right. That's a great question. And I got that question probably no more than any other question as this was being launched. You want to lock up your coins because the only way to become wealthy in crypto, or one of the main ways that most people are going to become wealthy in crypto, is holding their asset long term. A lot of people were talking about how they wanted, yield on this locked up Pulse Bitcoin, and hey, what kind of yield am I going to get? Things like that. But what people fail to understand is that when the asset over a certain number of years appreciates, 100x, 500x, 1000x, and you unlock your Pulse Bitcoin at that point, do you care about yield? No, you care that your asset that you locked up appreciated by 1000x. Mm-hmm. It's extreme delayed gratification. I mean, with Hex, you're getting a piece of the inflation.
Right.
Here, there's no inflation. You're getting the appreciated asset after that extended time period. And even when Richard kind of talks about, let's say he brags about the 10,000x of Hex, he'll usually throw in at the end and 2x that with staking or something like that. The kind of inflation that you got through Hex staking is kind of the minimal feature, where the actual benefit you're getting from locking up is really the actual price appreciation of the underlying asset.